Welcome back. What's this we have here?
It's that thing in front of your mouth. Try not to bite it.
This is, I always have a problem with that. This is a new change here. It's looking professional.
Yeah.
Got ourselves some mics.
Shout out to Arnie.
Yeah, that's right.
He's like, the podcast was great, but he can't really hear us properly. So, he's the GOAT. He's the Surrey mayor as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, exactly. I had a few other people, I think they were listening on iTunes or something, and they wanted the sound to be crispy. So we had to deliver on that promise. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. I don't think the weather's doing as well, but it's going to have to do.
Man, fuck the rain.
You know what I realized recently is whenever we see professionals in any sort of industry and they tell us something, we're like, okay, that's the way that it's done. And then years later or months later, we'll see that they're doing something completely else.
Yeah.
It's completely something different. And they'll say, oh, well, you're not authentic, or why'd you show me that before? You're contradicting yourself.
Right.
Do you find that you've contradicted yourself or that this has come up?
I feel like my life's been a contradiction, to be real. I think, and I recently heard this on a podcast as well, and kind of sparked this idea in me, is that contradictions are almost like essential for growth, right? If you look at our running, right? We were back when we were powerlifting. We were known to laugh at people when they'd be running by and doing their exercises.
7 to 8 years ago.
7 to 8 years ago. And, the universe has done this to us a few times where we'll make fun of something, we'll hate on something, and then lo and behold, boom, we're right in the thick of it doing the thing.
Yeah.
And there's like a fear inside of us to admit that, hey, we've contradicted ourselves and no one wants to be wrong. Contradiction is literally, you were wrong, and now you're doing things the right way.
Right.
So I think, contradictions are almost essential for growth. Not the main thing for growth, but they help.
Yeah, I definitely think that I trust the practitioners where I see that they've admitted that, hey, in the past I used to do this and I learned that that wasn't the best way. Or when I worked with these types of clients, I found that my formula didn't work. And so for those reasons, I switched my approach a little bit. I like that because it shows that the practitioner is willing to learn.
Absolutely.
I hate it when individuals are saying, no, this is the only way. And then you show them some evidence that proves otherwise. And they still will say, no, we only do things this way.
Yeah, I think it applies to people we even look up to. Like if you look at Mark Rippetoe, he was a god to us when we were first learning. And for those that don't know, Mark Rippetoe is the founder of Starting Strength out in Texas. Yeah. And he was one of the first systems that we borrowed from. And his thing is, the barbell is the cure for everything. Yep. You want to run 10K? Well, squat heavy.
Yeah.
Right. And if you want to, if you want to kick alcoholism, squat heavy. Everything is squat heavy, deadlift heavy, bench heavy.
Yeah, it's like one way of doing things.
Exactly. And we bought into that,
right.
And we lived that. Yeah. And not until we started realizing ourselves that, oh fuck, my back's starting to hurt, and I probably should do some mobility and make sure that I'm not. And we had to start veering away from this guy that we put up on a pedestal. Yeah. And it revolutionized our business because, I hate to say it now, there's probably 7 years ago, Ben is probably rolling over in his grave thinking, I can't believe he's saying fuck Mark Rippetoe and the way he's thinking.
Right.
Mind you, what he's done for the barbell, we still use his form for the squat and all of that stuff. But you have to find things, and sometimes life will show you were wrong. And it takes a certain type of individual to admit they were wrong to themselves and publicly, and to grow out of that. Because there's this fear that no one's going to trust me if I'm proven wrong.
Right.
When that's not the case. I mean, no one gives a fuck if you were wrong or not. People are more worried about what's next.
Yeah.
What's next once you've admitted you're wrong?
I find that everything is rapidly changing. Whether it's technology, whether it's different forms of business. I mean, it's COVID right now. Look at how many businesses have changed and how many new businesses have come about. Mm-hmm. And I feel that is just essential to growing as a business and as a human being, is you're going to have to start to pivot. You're going to have to start to change things up. And, you can't just, you can stick to a certain rubric. However, what I found with us is we would do certain things like crazy. And once we did just that, we learned about it, learned the flaws, and then we move on to something else. I find picking from different sorts of disciplines is a great thing because
Right.
there's a lot to learn from different areas. So my question to you is, what originally got you into working out, and how do you work out now? Is it any different now than it was before? And is anything you're doing now a contradiction to what Ben at 17 years old
Yeah,
was
I
doing?
think a lot of the things are. What got me originally into working out was my mom bought me my first set of weights because she understood that, you know, she's got two young boys that are, they got anger issues, right? And they justifiably so have shit going on that, you know, she can't really deal with. So she bought me a set of weights to kind of, you know, channel my energy. I was 12 years old, and hand in hand with that came with my obsession with bodybuilding. And not that I wanted to be a bodybuilder. I mean, I would have aspired to, but there's no way that I would be able to get to that level, I would think to myself. But that kind of veered my journey into my ego, and it was all about the ego. I want big arms, I want a big chest, you know, smaller waist, I want big quads and stuff like that. I want to look good in a t-shirt. And
Why?
one, so people would stop fucking with me.
Okay.
Because like I had a lot of those issues growing up. Like I had an ego issue, so I was an easy person to pick as a target, and everyone loves fighting in high school, grade 8, grade 9, and I was an easy target, and I was kind of done people fucking with me. And
So there was no health and fitness reasons for you working out. You
hell
were doing it for
no.
health
It was
reasons.
I wanted people to respect me. I give a fuck if it was going to be unhealthy. I mean, I was abusing steroids by the time I was 18, right? So I would do anything and everything. I would do the most unhealthy way to work out.
Right.
Yeah.
What led down that path? Okay, so I understand that you didn't want people to fuck with you, but what did you define masculinity as? Being big chest,
Hell yeah.
working out
Fuck yeah.
regularly, and
Hell
that
yeah.
kind of stuff. And where did you get those values from?
A lot of those values was from what I was seeing in these bodybuilding magazines and what I was seeing in my life, like what was around me, like who was being respected, who wasn't. Guys that were bigger, like, you know, people would everyone would just stop talking when the big guy in the room would walk in and stuff like that. And a big part of me wanted to be that guy, right? And I didn't realize that was very, very unhealthy for me until I got a lot older. And, you know, like you start realizing that I'm not happy. I'm doing the things I love, but I'm not fucking happy. What's the deal? What am I missing here?
That takes me to the next point, body image issues. So it's 2021, and over the last couple of years, the whole concept of body image issues has been prevalent, and I find that a lot of that attention generally goes to women,
Right.
because they tend to struggle with that. However, I feel that there's prevalent body image issues in Indo-Canadian men, Punjabi men growing up. Do you feel it gets the attention that it should, or do you think it's an underlying issue amongst all these men, and because the ego is so inflated, they're hiding behind that?
Definitely. I mean, I think that gets overlooked a lot. I mean, it's a fine line, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with caring about how you look. That's almost healthy to a point because it's going to pursue you down a healthy path. It becomes unhealthy once it becomes obsessive. And you start obsessing over, you will do anything, if that means steroids, you'll take that to look a certain way, or you'll diet crazy, restrict your calories so much that you're not even fucking thinking straight, and you've got foggy brain and all that, just to, you know, look slim and this, that, and the rest, right? But going to your point about it being in young men, I think it's huge, and it's overlooked because, yeah, it's a guy thing. Go work out. And people think of it, it's like, no, at least he's doing something. And I absolutely agree. At least they're doing something by working out. It could be unhealthy where they're sitting on the couch with a bag of potato chips and, you know, fucking their life up that way. But it's, you know, it's like surfing. It's the surfing analogy that we always use. You want to ride the wave. You don't want to be so risk-taking in that wave that you fall off and you're now in choppy waters or caught in a current. Because it's easy to get caught in that current. It'll fuck your shit up. And you'll go down a dark path when you start sacrificing, you know, time with family and time with your loved ones with, I'm going to go spend 4 hours in the gym. That was me. Right? And it's not, I don't think that's healthy either.
What would you say to someone that says, okay, Mr. Ben Singh, I feel that this is hypocritical because you are the CEO of a fitness company that in a way profits off of individuals not feeling good about themselves, which is why they come and they, you know, seek out your services and so forth. So how do you address body image issues being a businessman in fitness where sales are generally generated through sales copy or advertisements or marketing, which kind of gets them to be a certain way. So like Cosmo magazines,
Yeah.
the muscular development magazines, the
Yeah.
before and afters. There's been a time in the past where Fit Nation BC has posted many before and afters. As a consumer, when I see that, you're taking advantage of my low self-esteem and body image issue. What would you say to that?
I would say that, we learned from our past. Now, a lot of it wasn't intentional to say, oh, someone's going to see this crazy before and after and they're going to want to sign up just to lose weight and stuff like that. That wasn't the intention. The intention was to show this is an average person that was able to do what they wanted as their goal to lose the weight, and that was their goal. But I would say to that person, do your homework on our company now. If you see that happening now, sure, you're right. We're still a walking contradiction. We haven't done anything about it. But I would disagree. We've pivoted into such a bigger focus on mental health, regardless of what makes people walk in here. I want to lose the weight. I want to look good for my wedding and stuff like that.
Right.
That's great. But we're going to introduce and create a relationship with working out for you that's going to be good for your mental health. That's going to be good for, like any type of like sleep issues you're having or any type of aches and pains, and introduce you to rehab. The side effect of you doing all the right things for that is going to be losing the weight or gaining the muscle and doing all that stuff. So we are in the business of changing people's mindset, not changing people's mind, but changing people's mindset and changing people's relationship with working out.
Okay.
And I believe that is where fitness is headed in 2021, at least for our organization.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Now, you said a key point there. We did the before and afters before. We had sales copy that said, lose 3 inches in your first 4 weeks or receive 100% of your money back. There was even a special where if you didn't lose 3 inches, we gave you double your money back. Why? I know the company switched its whole approach, but why? If I had to ask you personally, was it something that wasn't sitting well with you personally? And what was it that kind of caused that? And when you changed, did you ever think for a second, hey, well, for 30, 40 years before us, this is just how advertising and fitness has been. How will we get clients if we decide to now switch? Because how can you measure that someone's mental health is better? How can you measure that somene's feeling a little bit better and so forth? Whereas inches, you can measure. Weight, you can measure.
I think for both of us, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but we've had discussions about this. It never sat well with us. That felt very sleazy to me that we were using that type of marketing to wheel people in. But being that the reason that it made us feel uneasy, it was an easy switch for us. Was there fear that, clients weren't going to show up or we're going to stop getting new clients? Yeah, I have that fear anyways. Like, I sometimes have anxiety because it's just, you have imposter syndrome. You think that, how did I even get here? I'm probably going to have no one show up tomorrow. It's just phantom shit that doesn't really exist. It's not real. It gets created in your head, right? But the feeling of that type of marketing not feeling good for us and not feeling right in our stomach and our soul was so powerful that other part didn't matter. If no one showed up, at least we could go to sleep at night thinking we're not being sleazy with our marketing. Right? And that was more important. But here's the thing. And even though we use that type of marketing, we were still doing the mental health stuff behind the scenes once clients were in and changing their relationship with working out and stuff like that. Exactly. Now, bait and hook and bait and switch when you're a car salesman is very different, right? You're fucking people over. But with us, people are coming in with those preconceived notions as is. I just want to lose the fucking weight. I don't care about how I feel or what my day-to-day is like. I'm just trying to lose the fucking weight. We want those people the most because working out is not a finite, it's not a destination, it's a lifelong journey.
I agree with that. Like, just to speak to that point right there, you're talking about this individual saying, I just want to lose weight, I just want to lose weight. And they feel that once I shed this weight, there's going to be something on that other side, and I'm going to feel a certain way. Now, you and I have been going through weight loss, weight gain journeys. And I'll ask you right now, how many times in the last 10 or 15 years were you completely satisfied with the way that you looked, and you looked in the mirror and you said, job well done, Ben. This looks fantastic. No more work left to do.
Right.
If I could just look like this, this is good. Because essentially that is, in a consumer's mindset, my pain is I have 10 pounds. get rid of those, my pain is gone, I'm going to feel great. Now let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to feel great if that 10 pounds is off and that number is different? Are they're going to feel significantly different? Did you feel significantly different? Did you ever make it there? Did you ever make it to the pinnacle?
I think
why?
I've been like I said, got my first weight set when I was 12, so I've been effectively working out for 20 years, and I can honestly say not one time have I been satisfied with the way I look. Instead, I've had moments where, oh, okay, that's pretty good, but the needle's always moved forward.
Is it because you're overly critical of yourself, or because you've created that criticism due to the way people view human bodies and what you saw in the
I think it's definitely a mix of both of those. If I think about that, it's definitely what unreasonable expectations I put on myself, but also if you look at what's been fed to me, and it's anything that I see on social media. I mean, there's so many influencers out there that, you know, they make it all about the washboard abs and unsustainable, unreachable, physical goals. If you look at it, even them, like they look good, they get to those washboard abs, and then they'll take 1,000 pictures, and they'll post those pictures over the course of 2 years. So you think this person looks like this year round, but it's not sustainable. And that was a lesson I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah, I learned something very similar because I had the opportunity to work in a vitamin store when I was younger. So I was reading the exact same magazines as you. And I remember watching a video, and I remember there's a Hydroxycut ad with a bodybuilder by the name of Paul Dillett, and he was like a 90s bodybuilder. And what these bodybuilders did to make extra money from these companies is after a show, they would purposefully stop working out for about 3-4 months and eat really bad food. They'd gain a whole bunch of weight, and then they would lose the weight, take a cycle, and start getting prepped. And then the before and after that they showed would be on Hydroxycut, but really they didn't take Hydroxycut. And that's what was everywhere. So people saw that, and that's what sold the products. But then once you started to realize that even the girl or the guy in the before and after doesn't even look like the girl and the guy in the before and after, that's when you started to realize that there's a lot of things going on.
But not everybody realizes that. The regular gym goer thinks that I can look like this year fucking round. And I'm going to look like this year round if I do everything this magazine says or this Instagram influencer says and stuff like that. So I think the perspective shift needs to happen in performance. When I started falling in love with running, when I started falling in love with movements like the squat, the deadlift, and the bench, it was more achievable. It was no longer about the way I looked. Because now, in being in the industry for 10 years, I'm starting to realize looking good or looking the way you want to, which is subjective, is a side effect of you falling in love with working out, falling in love with training. Now, if you get away, okay, I'm not going to think about the way I look anymore. I'm just going to focus on movements. Well, you can become obsessive with that as well, like we did. See, we've lived that too. You know, we were chasing a 400-pound squat. We were chasing a 400-plus pound deadlift. I was chasing a 400-pound bench press. That was getting unhealthy as well. So it's a fine line. You gotta know that I'm gonna enjoy my life, and I'm gonna make sure that working out helps me live my life. I don't live my life to work out.
Right. The subjective perception, I think that is huge. So asking someone, are you there yet? Are you at your goal? Do you feel good about how you look? A lot of the times it's always, no, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. And the thing is we would be in the gym working out. We look over at someone and be like, man, look at that guy. Like, he looks huge. Like, he probably feels so good about himself. And then slowly we started to learn those guys did not feel good about themselves. No. They didn't see in the mirror what everybody else saw. So a lot of these individuals are walking around not feeling fulfilled. Well, outsiders are looking at them like, damn, I want to look like that. I wish I looked like that. Because I mean, even with you, I think there's a lot of people that would meet you and say, oh man, like this guy looks really fit, he looks really strong, but deep down inside, you're just a little boy crawled up, and they have no freaking idea. No. And why do you think that is?
I think it's because everyone, like, the grass is always greener on the other side.
Right.
But you never know what's going on inside the house. So I think a lot of people don't put enough emphasis on their mental health or even explore. People set a goal, a physical goal, but why?
Yeah.
Is it my ego talking? Is this me talking? Is there a grander goal? Like now I'm looking at, okay, I'm working out to make sure I'm passing on good genetics. Right? So I'm making sure I'm doing all the right things and I'm not doing too much.
You want your future kids to go to the league, right?
They're going straight to the league. Daddy's going to get paid out.
You and I know we don't have CPP, we don't have a pension.
We're
so we got to have some sort of investment.
I like to say, and Ruby's going to kick my ass when I say this, but I like to say that my kids are going to be my pension plan because my kid's going straight to the league, baby. But no, I'm doing it. I'm working out because I want to pass on good genetics. But I also have to make sure I'm not so obsessive over working out that I look good and I perform well, but my mental health is shit because I can't pass that shit on either.
Yeah.
So with my working out comes my therapy.
Right.
Comes my getting into nature and making sure that I'm level. I'm not too high up one way. I'm not too low the other way. I'm riding the level, right?
One of my problems with the way that marketing has been done in fitness is that it makes the consumer feel that unless I am overweight or unless I have these issues, I don't have to work out.
No.
Like it's really, why would I have to do that? Like, don't you ever feel if you were talking to someone, they never expressed that they needed to lose weight or something, you said, hey, you should come by our gym and sign up, and they would look at you and say, what do you mean? Why would you say that to me? Am I overweight, or do I look skinny or something? Like, I feel like people need to be working out because it is the best thing for your body because it synchronizes the mind, body, and the spirit. If you're working on your body, you can execute at work a lot better. However, that doesn't sell in a magazine, and that doesn't sell.
How do you sell performance goals?
Exactly.
You can't.
And so I feel like that is the battle that we're kind of facing now by doing that. However, I feel that this is the angle that the industries are starting to take, and this is probably the way that the future is going to start to look. People will start to access services more around the basis of I want to feel good, and then I could be wrong.
We could change the world if that happens.
What do you think about that?
I think that if that's the future, it gives me a lot of faith in mental health going forward. It gives me a lot of faith for generations that are going to now see that, because what were we influenced by? Bodybuilders in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. And that was all grotesque, look big, look huge, tapered waist, six-pack abs. And that's, it's just like you are going to be influenced by what you see. And if what we're putting out next is what the generation after us is, or that's coming after us is going to see, it gives me a lot of faith, right?
When I observe you at work and you're working with, let's say, a younger gentleman, and it kind of reminds you of you and 18, 19 years old, and they're starting to bench press a little bit heavier. Knowing what you know now, are you treating those clients any differently, or are you trying to guide them any differently because you've kind of gone down a similar path than you would have if you were guiding them, let's say, 8 years ago? Or are you saying, or are things roughly the same?
Now, I actually have a client now that I'm training, Jag, and I live a very ironic life. I'm starting to realize now that I am now in a position where I can give advice and I can coach people like I'm coaching my younger self. The coach, I'm now able to be the coach that I needed when I was a kid.
Right.
And still achieve these physical feats that these kids are going to achieve. But I'm going to make an emphasis on, how do you feel? How are you resting? What are you doing in your recovery time? How are you feeling today, dude?
Yeah.
Where's your headspace at? How's school going? How's things at home?
Yeah.
All the questions that weren't asked to me, I'm now able to present to these kids. And it's like a glitch in the matrix now. It's like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
When's the last time anyone's asked you how you're really doing? Not just, oh man, how's it going? It's like, no man, how's things at home?
Right.
Hey man, your eyes are telling me something different than your voices. What's going on?
So you're more than a drill sergeant then?
That's a lot of people would think, they'll see my Instagram videos and they'll say, oh, that guy, fuck that. I don't want to get trained by that guy. That guy's a drill sergeant. No, I'm the ultimate hype man. I'll celebrate a 65-pound squat the same way I'll celebrate a 200-pound squat. That shit doesn't matter to me. Performing well matters to me. Doing shit that person didn't think they would ever be able to do is that's what gets me hyped.
Yeah.
And I'm in the business of making people feel important, making them realize they are important. Fuck making them feel important. Making people realize they are important. They are the main person in their story.
Yeah.
I'm just a background character to make you feel like you're the man, because you are, or you're the woman. You're the person, because you are.
I want to discuss something. In North America, we have this very capitalist style culture. Sports are huge. It's all about winning. It's all about that one extra rep. It's all about sometimes coaches priding on themselves on the fact that their athletes are puking at the end of practices. So it's about this whole like bravado almost in a way, and it's like, oh, I don't really sleep, team no sleep, and like that kind of stuff. And I'm listening to Relentless by Tim Grover, it's a good book, I would say, quite motivating. But there's some things that I think that as a health practitioner, I don't quite agree with. When he's explaining these people called cleaners, and cleaners would be like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, these super high performing athletes. And he explains how when they get injured, they still work out or they'll still do this and they don't care. It just beats them up inside not to be able to work out. And in a way, it seems like I'm thinking if I'm the kinesiologist of someone and I hear that the strength coach is saying those things when we're doing a ACL reconstruction, I don't want to push that guy to that. And now you've gone through a path where there's been times when our back would hurt and we'd say, hey, shut the fuck up and just get under the bar.
It's still your motherfucking set.
It's still your motherfucking set. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. What are your views on that now? And how do you navigate when that young boy is in there? He said, I'm in pain. But every piece of him wants to lift and to do that. And now how do you navigate that?
So
without him feeling, oh man, you're a softie, man.
I think people like Tim Grover and stuff like that, they do a great job of motivating. But you can't there's no science behind what he's saying. Right? So we become a victim of their marketing.
Right.
We become a victim of their train of thought. If Kobe blew his ACL, he tore his Achilles tendon.
Ruptured his Achilles.
I don't think he was working out, bro. And I don't think Tim Grover can speak to that.
Maybe he was working out too much, is what I'm thinking.
That's what caused it. But after he tore it, I'm pretty sure he was doing a shitload of rehab because he came back. Wasn't the same player, but he stepped onto the court again.
Yeah.
So we need to stop taking people at face value. Dead that shit in 2021.
Yeah.
Dig deeper. Find other shit. Dig deeper into the story. I want to ask, I can't ask Kobe now, but I want to ask Jordan, is this for real? And maybe he's going to lie to me because he's got an image to protect too. Everyone has an image to protect. Don't get caught up in the sauce, right? Number two, if the kid comes to me and says to me, hey, you tell me this kid's got a disc bulge, he shouldn't be doing these movements, or he needs to rest, he needs to kind of recover or do some active rest or something like that. And now I got to convince this kid that's used to banging weights. We're going to learn a new skill today, dog. We're going to diversify our portfolio. Because we skipped all the little things and the things that we cut in corners around, and it's the reason why we're here, this could be a theme for the rest of your life, or we can change the way your life's going to look.
That's some Randy Jackson shit, dog.
I'm just a little bit of Randy Jackson on the inside. But that's what it is, man. Let's learn some new shit. What are we doing? What are we fucking doing? Are we gonna just grind you to the ground and hurt you even further? That's not ethical, and that's not why I got in this business.
Yeah. Those are some of the flaws that I've seen in some of the things we've done in the past, or even the way that fitness has been. You're not listening to the body. That goes against being an intuitive eater, an intuitive lifter, an intuitive individual.
Intuitive liver.
Exactly, right? Like when your body says no, it means no, but it's time to pivot.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
We're not saying, oh yeah, just forget it, just go lay on your couch and so forth. But there was a time when you and I wouldn't want to go into the back and work out if we knew that we couldn't deadlift or squat.
Definitely.
We wouldn't even put our kacha on.
Yeah.
Because we're like, what am I doing this for?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back there and do some mobility.
Start questioning your whole life.
Yeah, like I'm gonna do mobility. Like what the hell? Like if we thought workout, it had to have at least 3 barbell lifts involved. Otherwise, it wasn't a workout. And now what do? Now we're single leg training the crap out of things. We're really doing exercises with intention. Now we pivoted.
Right.
We're doing different things where you could still challenge your body, but you're still abiding by the rules of the universe in terms of you don't push it when you're not supposed to. You listen to your body when your body's saying it's time to listen.
Yeah, and I think that's why diversifying the way you train is so important. If you, there's some people out there that can just lift weights the rest of their life and they're going to be fine, and that's okay with them. I'm not talking to them. But I'm talking to the person that, has lifted weights and got hurt. Well, what else are you doing? Let's get on a bike. Let's learn how to run. Well, I'm not that into running. Well, why not? What is it about running that really gets you? Oh, it's just so tough. Yeah. Oh, really? Life's tough.
People, I find, I don't know if it's adults or what it is, but we stop putting ourselves out of our comfort zone and wanting to learn new skills.
We get comfortable, man.
We after a while, we're like, oh yeah, I did this, and you don't want to do it. I want to be able to do a triathlon, so I'm chasing after that. The only thing holding me back is I didn't grow up swimming. I don't know how to swim, so I started learning as an adult. That is the one thing that holds back so many adults from doing a triathlon. Is they'll just say, well, I can't swim. And that's the end of the discussion. There's no desire or attempt to want to learn because I'm too old, it's going to be too hard, I'm too, this is wrong and this isn't perfect. I don't think any of that stuff exists. No. I think what it is we just don't want to let our ego to get in the way. We feel like, I'm a great lawyer, I do everything well, I have to have confidence and mastery in everything I do. So when I approach something and I don't have mastery, I don't want to do it.
Right.
You can't live like that.
No, you can't.
Because you'll never grow out of that comfort zone.
I think there's a philosophy that we abide by here, and that is that everybody is an athlete in the sport of life.
Right.
And in the sport of life, you have many disciplines that you can follow, right? So if you are looking at life in that sense, it becomes way broader. Right. And if you realize that I'm going to be working out for the rest of my life, why not pick different things that you're afraid of? Go on a hike. I don't want to drive up to the mountains. That's too far of a drive. Come on, man. What are we doing here? Okay, that's fine. Try swimming. I can't swim. I don't know how to.
Get lessons.
Well, get lessons. Learn. Make it important to you. You'll do anything you'll make important, right? So if we start looking at disciplines in life like that, we'll be able to have our relationship with working out, training, feeling good, looking good, being holistic, rather than just laser focused on one thing and become obsessive, because that's unhealthy, right? So for those out there that are thinking, like I'm sitting here, I used to squat, deadlift, bench, do all this stuff, and now I can't because I hurt my back. Well, take your time, recover, find the right things you need to do to recover. It's not the age of ignorance anymore. The internet's out there. There's plenty of resources out there.
Fit Nation Rehab.
Yeah. Come see the homie. It takes you to do the first step. And there's going to be other people to help you along the way. You can hire a coach. You can do many things. If you don't have the money to hire a coach, there's plenty of stuff on YouTube that you can kind of determine what's right, what's wrong. And honestly, you don't know what's right, what's wrong until you start and you try.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
And then, because I started off my career in working out in banging weights with literally with the barbell, and I do less barbell movements now because now my training is catered to my performance in running because I want to run a marathon. Yeah. And fuck anything that you do, I follow right behind your footsteps. So the triathlon's probably right there, 100%, right? And you and Romy both introduced me to running. So whatever you guys do next, I'm there. So what's your circle like? What are the 5 people around you doing? Are they all doing the same thing? Are you deep down inside, you're not unhappy? Well, you need to find other disciplines, and maybe it's going to be other friends, other people that are going to help you stay engaged. I don't motivate myself to run every day. It's my fucking people.
Right. You don't want to let the team down.
I can't.
No.
Right? And so if you set your life up in a sense where you have these markers and these reasons, these whys, these random whys all over. These people can be whys for you. Your future, like my kids are going to be my why for me, and my wife is going to be my why for me. Right. So if my friends are my tribe, the tribe that we have at Fit Nation that I'm a part of, I'm not sitting on a pedestal in front of all these people. I am down in the middle. I'm one of the tribe members.
Yeah.
So if I start to kick back, it's going to be a domino effect to everyone else. There's no greater motivator in this world that you will find than other people, dependency on other people, or even the motivation you're a quiet motivation to someone watching and someone listening. And if you let yourself down, you're going to let so many other people down. You're going to always do an extra set. You're going to do an extra kilometer. You're going to be able to be mentally clear if you have those auto-regulators in your life.
I think I wanted to wrap up with just saying, so we opened the conversation, started talking about weight loss, body image, that type of stuff, things that are integral, I guess, in a way, or at the center of health and fitness, or reasons for why people will, access those services. And now I see the logo of Fit Nation, the 3 triangles that represent the mind, body, and the spirit.
Yes.
And through this conversation, we saw that in your first 15 years or so, it was just the body.
That's it.
Then the obsession around the body started to negatively impact the mind and negatively impact the spirit. You started to get the body part in order by changing the way that you were working out, started to focus on these other triangles. Now each triangle is synchronized and everything is moving in motion. Because by the end of it, you started talking about your relationship with your wife, motivators and so forth, and different areas of your life that are impacted by fitness. So anybody listening, I hope you can see that when it comes to fitness and health, you're not just accessing these services to lose weight, to look good for that wedding, to impress somebody. It's more for you and these other areas of your life that you right now don't know are intertwined with the way you feel and your health and
Definitely,
wellness.
I agree. No,
Yeah.
that's dope. That's a great way to wrap it, man.
Awesome.
I think you're